Good evening, everyone. This is Anthony Floyd with the City of Scottsdale Office of Environmental Initiatives and Green Building Program Manager. We appreciate you coming out this evening. You could have been doing so many other things. We appreciate you spending the time with us for an hour that we're going to spend with Dorie Morales. Dorie is a longtime friend and supporter of Scottsdale's Green Building Program and is a Scottsdale resident and business owner here in the city of Scottsdale. She is publisher and CEO of Green Living magazine. The magazine is an eco-conscious lifestyle publication that aims to educate, inspire, and empower readers to make eco-conscious choices for a healthier lifestyle and standard. A University of Arizona alum and magazine veteran, Morales has worked in the publishing industry since 1997. In 2010, Morales transitioned to a new role as a partner in her second startup magazine, Green Living magazine. The publication was met with warm reception when it debuted, as it provided a functional and fun approach to leading a sustainable life and continues to do so today. Morales is deeply engaged in the Phoenix green scene. She is involved in many organizations that focus on sustainability, including the Arizona Green Chamber of Commerce, Arizona Forward, Local First Arizona, Arizona Foundation for Women, and the U.S. Green Building Council Arizona chapter. So I would like to warmly welcome Dorie to be our guest speaker, and she's going to present to you Green Living from her vast experience as publisher of the magazine. So Dorie, we're going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Anthony. It's so great to be here. And thank you for having me. Hold on a second. I don't know why my screen, sorry about that. Let me get the slides going. Congratulations to the City of Scottsdale and your Environmental Excellence Awards that you won through Arizona Forward not too long ago.
Yes, thank you.
Heads, so that's pretty exciting. So I'm very thankful and grateful to be here. And if anyone has any questions and they want to ask me anything throughout my presentation, they're definitely welcome to. I welcome any questions. So I'm the publisher and editor-in-chief of Green Living magazine. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about me and my history and how I got into Green Living. I have actually been in the magazine business, obviously, for my bio for over 20 years. And my former business partner came to me and said, hey, I'm thinking about starting this Green Living magazine. And I did my due diligence and there was nothing like it on the market. And I was going to Portland at that time. And I went to the airport and it says, where does the United States rank in terms of sustainability? And then I got on the airplane and the cover was like, how sustainable is the United States? And then I was going to Portland and everything in Portland is a lot more progressive and sustainable. So I went on my trip and biked a lot and learned a lot of the sustainable things that the city of Portland was doing. And I came back and I said, I'm definitely in to start the magazine. So it was a great opportunity for me. And I went back to my childhood when I started the magazine and started thinking about how I grew up in New Jersey and my dad had an acre garden and I would love to go out to the garden and pick the fresh fruits and vegetables. And I'd love to see the leaves turn. And I grew up horseback riding and hiking. I was a foreign exchange student in France, in the Basque region of France, in a small village that's 1,500, there's about 1,500 people. And I was milking cows and goats and living off the farm. And that experience completely transformed my life. And I went back and saw the family in 2019 before the pandemic, and the family's fighting the good fight of getting all the chemicals out of the farms in the Basque region. And they even had a Green Living magazine in their little local store that they owned. And I'm like, if it wasn't for actually going and living on that farm, I don't know if I would have, if Green Living would have been what I would have chosen to do. So I believe that we're all connected and we are all one. After I graduated from college, my husband and I had a lot of foreign exchange students that lived with us from different Asian countries, and we really enjoyed it. And then in my personal life, my parents and my siblings died at younger ages. For my sister, my brother was 60, and then my parents died in their 80s, but all due to health and wellness related issues. And I feel that a lot of people, in terms of sustainability, they forget to put lifestyle and health and sustainability. And I've had a few of my own health journeys, which I'm going to go into a little later, or I'll tell you a little now, but it shows back up in my presentation. After I had my first child, I ended up, the doctor nipped my bowel, and I was sick in the hospital after. And then I've had different, I was told I had Hashimoto's, and then recently I just had a couple of emergency surgeries, and I had an ovary removed, and I had one removed previously 12 years ago. And to this day, no one can tell me why. So I've been going through a lot of studying and researching and trying to really be cognizant of the food that I eat and what I put in my body and the water that I drink and things like that. So I just want to make sure that people think about, when they think about sustainability, they think about their lifestyle and the health and what they're putting in their body. So that's a little bit about me. So there's definitely a lot of health and wellness in Green Living magazine. So our mission is to educate, empower, and inspire people to make eco-conscious choices for a healthy life and healthy planet. And our vision is one in which people live, work, and play sustainably, and leaving the world a better place for the future generations. And it's really about connecting with the children and getting them involved, that we only have one Earth. So I'm pretty passionate about how we can engage children with sustainability as well. How the magazine changed my life. It's pretty interesting because my husband probably was more of an environmentalist, and he grew up with a mom that was all about reading labels and was very spiritual and almost somewhat granola-y. And he watched documentaries of Jacques Cousteau, and his brother is an environmental engineer up in the city of Flagstaff. And then I grew up just pretty much more of a normal life before France. And then we met and we had kids, and I started, both my kids had severe allergies when they were younger. My youngest one was allergic to about 29 different things when I had him tested for allergies out of 31. And then my son Carter has some allergies that whenever we go down to Rocky Point, his hands and face breaks out into these huge blisters, and we haven't figured out what's going on there. We think it may be a virus, but I've definitely gone through a lot of different things to make sure that there's no toxins and no chemicals, and the food that we eat is very healthy and nutritious, and we even grow some of it. So wanted to talk a little bit about the magazine. It's Earth Month, and it's our Earth issue. And hopefully a lot of you on this call are familiar with the magazine, but we're super excited to celebrate Earth Day. And we've got a great article on Arizona's starry nights, and we are talking about all the wonderful dark sky communities that there are throughout the valley. And we feature Fountain Hills and Sedona and Flagstaff in this article. So it's a great article. And then, sorry, We also have a great article on Bella Gaia, and if you haven't seen that movie, I would highly recommend it. It shows how human and nature are connected, and how art and science are connected. It's the exploration of the relationship between human civilization and the ecosystem through time and space. And just like I said earlier, we are all one and we're all connected. And now is the time that we need to join forces and really make a difference and take action when it comes to climate action and really caring for our beautiful planet Earth. In the next magazine, or a couple months ago, we started a new section in the magazine. One of my sales rep, well, actually two of my sales reps have a background in global travel and tourism. So we actually started a section on sustainable travel. So we're going all around the state, and we are working with local cities and towns, and we're highlighting what are the sustainable things to do in those cities. So in this issue, we've highlighted Camp Verde, and we talk about all the local businesses that are there and the local farms and different things like that. We had featured Queen Creek, previously, talked about Schnepp Farms, the Queen Olive Mill, some yoga and different things like that. And in the next magazine, we're actually featuring Cottonwood, and then Flagstaff and Avondale will be in the fall. So we're really excited to partner with cities in this way and work with local businesses also. We did a great article on the Grand Canyon Conservancy. They are the nonprofit that keeps the Grand Canyon beautiful, and they're actually celebrating 90 years. So we wanted to give them a big tribute, and definitely spoke to Mindy, who is their marketing director there. And I'm definitely going to go hike the Grand Canyon after my conversation with her. So if you haven't hiked the Grand Canyon, I would highly recommend it. My husband and my son went and hiked it not too long ago. Then the magazine also talks about local. We have got a local fashion designer who creates these beautiful designs, and she works at Fabric, which is a fashion incubator hub here in Tempe. Then we've created a partnership with the Arizona Technology Council, and we're doing Stephen Zalastra, who's the president of the Technology Council. He's writing articles for the magazine on a monthly basis, and he's highlighting some of the different electric vehicle companies that we have in Arizona. Some of you may know or may not know, but Arizona has been named the Electric Valley because of all the new car manufacturers that we have in Arizona. We've got Nikola, we've got Lucid, we've got Electric Mechanica. We also have semi-autonomous companies down in Tucson. We have TuSimple, we got Waymo here. We have Waymo here in Chandler. And then I think there's a couple others as well. So, and then also there's an organization called ZEV. If you're not familiar with them, they're Zero EV Corporation, and they're actually transforming fleets within Arizona and globally and nationwide, where you can actually have a striker van and you can pull out the combustible, the ICE engine or the internal combustible engine, and put in an electric vehicle. And it's pretty amazing. They just took over 100 square foot building in Gilbert. So if you're not familiar with them, I highly recommend that you check them out. So it's pretty exciting what Arizona is doing in terms of electrifying the state. Then we also do global articles. There's an organization called Earthshot, and she actually created a solar powered ironing cart, and she lives in India. So this was kind of a fun article as well. And then in the style and beauty, I'm pretty passionate about food, and then I'm really passionate about fashion as well. I'll send you, or I'll discuss a few fun fashion facts a little bit further in the presentation. But Marcy Zaroff, I actually met her at the Natural Products Food Expo in Anaheim, It's the largest natural foods convention. They have one on the East Coast and one in Anaheim. Over 100,000 people go to it, where like your Justin's Peanut Butter and Stonyfield Farms. And it's just a really great way for brands to come to market. And she trademarked the term eco fashion. And she's very passionate about sustainability as well as the soil and using all organic cotton. And she travels to India, and she's got 3 companies right now that are called, they are all under the umbrella of Eco Fashion Corp, but 2 of them are female lines, Farm to Table and Yes and then she's got, our Farm to Table is actually her bedding line, or her housewares line. And then she's got a company called MetaWear, where you can actually buy organic cotton t-shirts and different things for large corporations. But she's definitely been trademarked the eco fashion Martha Stewart of the modern day world. So we've done a couple articles on her, and really appreciating and looking at what's happening with our soil and what we need to do to save our soil and keep our people and planet healthy. So that's some of the different articles that you'll see in the magazine. And then savor, as I mentioned, food, one of my favorite topics. We have, we'll highlight chefs and restaurants and food trucks, as well as highlight recipes in this section. If you haven't been to SIBO restaurant, I would highly recommend going there. They basically have a gluten-free pizza crust and gluten-free bread that's unbelievable, because it actually tastes like bread. I don't know if anybody's gluten-free on this call or not, but or this presentation, but I've eaten a lot of gluten-free bread, and a lot of it leaves a little bit to be desired. So that's a great restaurant. And then Maja is someone who works for us, and she's actually in Italy, and she wrote this article on Paravel. It's sustainable travel luggage. So that's kind of another fun article that we can, look at every product that we use and try and switch to an environmentally sustainable item. Then we feature the Valley Ho. They've done a lot of sustainable things with their with the hotel in terms of what they're diverting their waste and water. And I think their chef does a lot in Zuzu with Farm to Table and using a lot of local organic recipes. And then I know he works with a lot of local wine and beer and spirit companies as well. And if you haven't gone there for dinner, they have some sort of dinners that you can sign up for on a monthly basis. They are phenomenal. So highly recommend. And then technology, Polestar. If you haven't driven the Polestar, it's a pretty amazing car. They're actually having a grand opening on the 13th of April, and they will be opening in Scottsdale Fashion Square. But it's a great car that goes 0 to 60 in about 4 seconds, and you can test drive one. You just get an app, and you can actually order the car online pretty easily. You just decide what you want, and then you scan it, and then it collects your money, and you could have a car within maybe overnight or within 3 to 6 weeks. So I highly recommend checking out the Polestar car. I've test driven it and I love it. So then health and wellness, as I mentioned early, is a huge importance to the magazine. These are some different approaches or different articles that we have in terms of how to get healthy, but in a holistic way, looking at fitness and yoga, different herb recipes, different teas. I'm trying to think in terms of health and wellness, some of our other, balancing iodine in your body, keeping fit, hiking, biking. We did our January article, our January issue was health and wellness, and we highlighted, the fantastic fungi book or the movie, and then really talked about how important mushrooms are and all the healing benefits of mushrooms. So those are some of the different things you could learn about in green living. Then we have our house articles, and our house articles are articles that are mainstay in the magazine, and cool and outrageous stuff is a product, our different products that we highlight each month. And we try and keep them in theme with the theme of the magazine. We always have green scenes. So if you're looking for fun, cool things to do throughout the state that are more sustainable, definitely check out our green scenes. And then pretty much since like 2011, we've had 2 reviewers that have been reviewing products for us, and they have kind of a fun and witty style. And it's great to kind of get their product feedback. So if you haven't checked out our He's Green, She's Green, you want a couple laughs, I highly recommend that. And then we have What's Hot. It's kind of what's trending in terms of sustainability on the internet. And we have our recipe section. These are local these are recipes that actually our creative director came up with. He has his own cookbook, and he's an amazing photographer. So he did this whole photo shoot and created these recipes. And as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, a lot of people forget the lifestyles of health and sustainability. So I recommend that people, if you can, eat as many things as you possibly can that are organic, but I know that not everybody can afford to eat 100% organic. So some of you may be familiar with this and some of you may not, but the Dirty Dozen, these are fruits and vegetables that, if you can, please eat organic, because there's been a lot of chemicals and pesticides that are actually that have been sprayed on them, as opposed to the Clean 15. These have harder shells, and you can get away with eating them as not being organic if you're just starting your organic whole food journey. Then I'm not plant-based, but I lean plant-based as much as I possibly can. I'm a pescatarian, so we have some different recipes that are more plant-based in the magazine, and different things to look out for, different labels. If you can choose not to eat genetically modified foods, there's the label for that: vegetarian approved, vegan approved, gluten-free, and then the paleo diet as well. And then some of the different diet types that you can look for is a whole food organic diet, the pescatarian diet, which is basically fish and vegetables, the paleo diet, which is also kind of which is named the caveman diet, vegan, which is definitely no animal products, the vegetarian, which you do have dairy and egg and honey in the vegetarian, gluten-free. Then the raw diet, which I would love to be able to eat a completely raw diet, but you definitely have to have a lot of time that you can actually make all your recipes to eat a raw diet. Or you could be a selectarian, so you can choose to be organic one day, vegan the next, gluten-free, or, you know, there is a trend now with a meatitarian. You can choose to bulk up and eat your meat. And I'm sure some of you guys may know this, but there's this whole new trend right now to bulk up, and you put on about 20 pounds and then you cut down and you lean out your diet. It seems to be the new trend. My son is doing it, and to me it seems a little interesting, where you're eating like protein and carbs only for a little while, and then you keep reducing your diet and then going back to eating healthy, but then you really have a cut diet or a cut body by the time you're all done. But I guess it goes back to what was it, the Dr. Atkins diet years ago. There's a lot of similarities there. And then food issues today. They say if you could eat vegan one day per week, it would actually 52 weeks a year, you can save about 50 kilograms of CO2 per year. And if you ate vegan 1 week per month, 12 weeks a year, you can nearly save 80 kilograms of CO2 for a year. And if you are a meat eater, definitely choose grass-fed or grass-finished. The difference between grass-fed versus grass-finished is grass-fed means that the animal was fed grass sometime during its life, and grass-finished means that it was fed grass from the time it was born until the time it was pasteurized. Another great thing that you can do to be really sustainable with the foods that you eat is shop at a local farmer's market. And there's also Market on the Move, which some different churches throughout the valley have, and there's different locations, but you can actually get, I think, like 40 pounds of produce for about $15. It's not organic, but it's better than eating fast food and different things like that. So, and then if you do grow your own food, if you could get your seeds from Native Seed Search out of Tucson, or there's an organization out of Colorado, that's the Rocky Mountain Seed Alliance. And then I grow my own food at my house. Since my kids were younger, my son, that's right there in the Superman costume, he's actually 20. And then my youngest, who's very short right there, is actually 6'2" right now and 15. He's the one that's doing the bulking. So that picture was taken quite a few years ago. And this is our aquaponics system that we can put in our different lettuces and vegetables and fruits and peppers, and eat a lot of great herbs and everything. And the tilapia fish that's in the fish tank, their waste actually fertilizes this. And for some of you who may know, the aquaponics form of gardening actually uses less water than traditional gardening, and it dates back as far as the Aztecs. So, and this is our basil going wild. So we make a lot of pesto in our house, and then we've got kale in the back, and then in the back wicking bed, and then we've got lettuce there as well. And I always tell people, if you can think globally, act locally, don't judge each day by the harvest that you reap, but by the seeds, which I do. The soil and the seeds are extremely important. And then, as I mentioned, I'm pretty passionate about the fashion industry. I personally have been shopping Goodwill, consignment. I also do clothing swaps. The shirt I'm wearing today was my cousin who had actually passed away as well. So I haven't bought new clothes and I can't tell you how long. And the shoes I'm wearing, my mother-in-law gave me, she cleaned out her shoe closet. And so I got about 10 new pair of shoes. And the pants I'm wearing, I've had for quite a number of years. So I'm very passionate about Goodwill. And then the clothing swap, I'm hoping to do one actually with Green Living sometime this year. It's just a great way to keep clothes out of the landfill, because 80 billion pieces of clothing are consumed globally every year. And the volume of water consumed by the apparel production each year is equivalent to 32 million. So 32 million Olympic swimming pools. Australia is the world's second largest consumer of fashion, and on average, they consume 27 kilograms of new clothing and textiles every year. And then in the US, we spend about 2.6 billion on Halloween costumes every year, and they're worn for one night only, and most likely going in a landfill. And 1 in 6 people work in the global fashion industry. And I'm sure most of you know that the fashion industry, after the oil and gas industry, is the dirtiest, is the next dirtiest industry in the world. So anything you can do to avoid fast fashion. And if you really think about it, if a t-shirt cost $5, like what are the living and working conditions of the people to produce a t-shirt that's $5? And think about all the chemicals and where the toxins and the chemicals and the dyes are going into the water stream. And there's definitely awakening. And think, when you think about putting on polyester on your body, that's made from gasoline, as opposed to putting on organic cotton or bamboo or hemp. So just some things to think about for sure. What do you do to live, work, and play green? I definitely, when COVID started, I started a ritual of mindfulness. So every morning I meditate, I do a prayer, and then I do yoga. I think all of us would love to stop junk mail, and there's some great resources for it. You can actually go to dmachoice.org, and you can unsubscribe to that. You can also go to optoutscreen.com and not get any more credit card solicitations. You can go to Dex and ask not to get your phone book. You can go to charities and ask not to be mailed anything from your local charities that you donate to. And then you could get off of all direct marketing like Valpak and Velasas and Epson that always wind up in your mail. So that's one thing that you can do. I'm sure a lot of you are pretty familiar with the CSA program, which is community supported agriculture. There's a local compost company called Recycled City. If you compost, and you can order fruits and vegetables through them, but then there's a lot of great local farms like Maya's Farm and Riba Farms in Mesa and Steadfast, where you can sign up for a CSA program, and each week you get a box full of organic, healthy, whole food delivered to your house. Look at reducing your water in your house if you have glasses, and if you have a family of, more than two, well, even if you have just two of you, any leftover water, you can put it in your plants, or you can put it into a big bowl and then take that water outside and water your plants outside. Anything that you can do to get rid of food waste, and then conserve energy in your home, ride share. I've been pretty passionate about getting, as I mentioned earlier, all the chemicals out of my house, but then also looking at your skincare. Most makeup that women wear have 16 toxic chemicals in them. And then look at your hair color and your skincare, because you can use organic hair color as well. In terms of work, look at, definitely make sure that you're turning off your electronics on a daily basis, seeing if you can use repurposed electronics. If you can go digital as much as possible. I have to say, being that I own a magazine, I do love paper. So I do like writing as opposed to doing everything electronically, but we definitely don't have plastic in our office. I don't have plastic at my house. I reuse paper using both sides. I cut it up and make smaller notepads out of it. But I definitely ask everyone to create a workplace challenge, like have a challenge who can reduce the amount of water, usage in the office, or who wants to recycle the most, and things like that. Or if you do have water bottles in your office, maybe you can go to your management and ask them, hey, can we get like a water container where we can all just bring in our reusable water, whatever the case may be. In terms of when you're traveling, if you can do staycations, you can also look at the environmental working group, and you can look up all your products and see how they rate in terms of how clean they are. It's a great app. I highly recommend it. You can look at local sports, local arts. Definitely you can buy in bulk, and then you can also stay at green hotels. You can exercise, definitely look at local culture, go on a train, and then make sure you support your local restaurants. And then, as I was just talking about supporting local, and in my biography, or when Anthony talked about some of the organizations I'm connected with, I'm very passionate about Local First. It's an organization where they support all locally owned businesses. And when you're shopping, if you spend $100 and you support a local business, only $27 leaves the local economy, as opposed to 57 if you're shopping at a big box store. Because if you're supporting, let's say, a local hairstylist as opposed to a chain hairstylist, that local hairstylist is probably using a local accountant who's also, she's using a local graphic designer, as opposed to when you're shopping at a big box store, they're using one of the 4 big banks, they're using a large accounting firm. And so not a lot of that money is actually staying in the community. So anytime you can support locally owned businesses, I would highly recommend it. And then we are super excited to have our first Earth Day extravaganza. We have been planning this since September, and I'm hoping that it's going to be an annual event, and I'm looking forward to it being actually a 2-day event. We're starting out Earth Day, where we are doing a VIP event with a keynote speaker of Mayor Gallego, and some of the local mayors will be in attendance. I do believe the mayor of Scottsdale and the mayor of Paradise Valley, and we'll be doing some panels with the East Valley mayors, the mayor of Mesa and Mayor of Mesa, Chandler, and Tempe. We'll be talking about what they're doing in terms of sustainability in the cities, and that panel will be moderated by Sybil Francis. And then we're also doing a building, kind of like what's happening within the built environment, but also talking about microgrids and electric vehicles. And that panel is actually going to be ran by Vanessa Ruiz from ASU. And we're also going to be talking with Yasmin Anasari, who was at the United Nations, and Mayor Gallego also went to COP26. So we're really excited about this event, that event on the 21st, because it's going to be a journalistic approach to what's happening with sustainability in Arizona. And we are actually going to be covering that in our May or June issue, most likely our June issue. And we're going to be doing a survey throughout the event and asking people what Arizona can do better to be more sustainable. So that's how we're kicking off Earth Day. That's going to be a half-day conference. And then the day after, we're doing a huge Earth Day Extravaganza Expo. And it'll be in Tempe, and it'll actually be at Fabric, which is the fashion incubator that has a partnership with the city of Tempe, and they've got local fashion brands as well as anybody who is affiliated with the fashion industry. So makeup, hair, accessories, and things like that. They will be doing a sustainable fashion pop-up outside in the courtyard, and then inside we will have about 20 to 30 vendor booths with interactive booths. We'll have Arizona Department of Environmental Quality, the City of Mesa, or City of Tempe, Phoenix, Avondale, as well as local solar companies, beekeepers, chefs. We'll have chef demonstrations, and then we'll have electric cars, also have electric bikes on display, and it'll just be a great way to really come together and appreciate the earth. And we'll have a few different presentations where speakers will come up for a couple minutes talking about what they're doing in the community as well. And Fry's has a big net zero waste Zero Hunger, Zero Waste program, and they're going to be doing the gift bags for us as well. We have a happy hour that's sponsored by Rocks Vodka. They're doing an organic watermelon infused drink, and there'll be some other drinks. And then the evening, we have partnered with Tempe Fashion Week, and they're doing a fashion show from 8 to 10 p.m. So if you're available on April 23rd. We'd love to see you at our Earth Day extravaganza, and you can purchase tickets through our website, going to Green Living Mag events, Earth Day extravaganza. So we'd love to see you there. We also host events on a monthly basis. We had a holiday client appreciation at Copenhagen, and we have local winemakers. We had Rocks Vodka at that event as well, and we partner with a nonprofit, and we always support a nonprofit and raise money and raise awareness for a nonprofit. We have different local vendor booths, and it's just a way to network together and join the eco-conscious community. And then if you are interested in green living from learning a little bit about our content and what we're doing, these are some places that you can pick up the magazine. We're at Whole Foods, we're at Pita Jungle, we're also at Safeway and Albertsons, and then anything that really fits the lifestyle of the magazine: hiking, biking, fitness centers, yoga studios, juice bars, wellness centers, things like that. We are a statewide publication, so most of our distribution is in Maricopa County, but we're also in Tucson and Flagstaff, Sedona, and Prescott. And then I was going to ask what questions that you had for me, and this is the time that I was opening it up to any questions.
Okay, I'm looking for any questions in the chat. If you have a question, please ask it in the Q&A box down below. Dorie, I just want to say that you and the magazine are doing some wonderful things. It's amazing that you're able to spread yourself in all these areas, and it demonstrates the interconnectivity and, as you were saying, the interconnectedness of all of us and everything that we do. So really, I want to say congratulations, keep up all the good work. And as the city of Scottsdale, we'll be here to, in the future, provide more support for all the efforts that you're doing.
Thank you. I'm very excited that you have a sustainability director, and I'm looking forward to having the opportunity to meet Lisa. So I'm very excited.
And we're excited for the new sustainability plan that Lisa now is in charge of. She just started 3 to 4 weeks ago, so she's getting up to speed. But we will be developing a new sustainability plan that's broad and holistic and addresses all the fundamental aspects of sustainability.
That's awesome. I'm excited to see what the city of Scottsdale rolls out.
Stay tuned. Any questions? Any comments? I'm not seeing any. Oh, I do want to also mention, in addition to the Earth Day activities that is being organized by Green Living, the city of Scottsdale has also some separate events happening throughout the course of the month. And it is posted on the city website. There's a calendar of events, and it's happening more around the Earth Day week. So it really doesn't kick off until April 22nd. But there's different things happening around the city, and so our staff has organized this event, and I know the mayor will be, and council members will be involved with the kickoff of it as well at the mayor and council Green Expo breakfast on the 22nd. Okay, I see a couple of questions. The first one is from Barbie. You are very inspiring with all that you do to be sustainable. So what would you have someone who is starting out on this path to start with, like the areas that would be the best?
I think I'm pretty passionate about starting out with simple solutions, I call them. One are easy things that you can do. Like someone asked me, like, what's one thing I could do if I, don't know where to start? And I'm like, well, just look at plastic water bottles. Think about a plastic water bottle takes about 1,000 years to actually disintegrate. So if you could give up plastic water bottles, that would be huge. Or look at plastic bags. There's so many of them. And if you could just take in a recycled bag with you. Um, the other thing, may take a little bit of time to adapt to. But as you know, I'm pretty passionate about the food and supporting local restaurants. It's also like voting with your dollars. If you go to a local restaurant and they're using styrofoam and plastic, you could ask them, hey, we've got an organization here in town called Footprint, and they have compostable and biodegradable um, to-go containers. Why don't you switch to those, or look at different vendors or suppliers that you can use where you're using eco-friendly to-go containers, or you can actually take in your own container with you. So if they have plastic, you're not getting all those toxins, or not plastic, I meant styrofoam. You're not getting all those toxins and chemicals, where the styrofoam's melting from the hot food. So those would be some things I would recommend, and supporting local businesses. And, if you're in the mood, if you're looking to buy a new car, I would highly recommend trying a hybrid or trying an electric car. Also maybe an electric bike, or buying a bike and looking at alternative forms of transportation. If you think about it, if you could carpool or ride the bus or ride your bike somewhere, that's great as well. Thanks for asking that question, Barbie.
Yeah, great place to start. I have a question from Jan. Thank you, Dorie, for all that you do for us. Really appreciate your dedication and knowledge. I've found several vendors and products through you and your magazine. And then she goes on to say, I just started drinking with beet juice after learning of it at one of your events.
The beet juice, which is actually the beet kvass, I do have to say it's great. You take 2 ounces of it, and it um, curbs your sugar craving, and highly recommend it. And we also have another client who is making oxygenated water, and you can actually get the chemicals out of your pool and have full-blown oxygenated water that in your swimming pool, but you can also drink it. And they're called exceptional water systems. So thank you, Jan, for your comment and your kind words.
Are there any other questions? I don't see any.
Cool.
So once again, Dorie, thank you so much for sharing part of your evening with us.
Yeah.
Really appreciate the valuable information that you provide and the good work you're doing with the magazine. And one thing you didn't mention, it's also available online, right?
Yep,
So,
we're available online, and then you can connect with us through social media. We've got an Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Pinterest page. So, and then in closing, I wanted to say this is one of my favorite phrases. Thank you all for listening. And what can a single person do to help the environment? Nothing. Join a community where you can create change, by Bill McKibben.
excellent, very appropriate. All right, thank you everyone for taking the time out of your evening to listen to Dorie, and we hope to see you at some of the upcoming Earth Day events over the next few weeks.
Yep, I hope you can all attend. We'd love to grow our community. And thank you to the city of Scottsdale for having me speak tonight. I really enjoyed it. I value and treasure our partnership.
You're quite welcome. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a very good evening.